Hello and welcome to this Cocos2d-x tutorial, which will cover a question that has been asked from fellow developers all over the internet, whether it's been to me or just generally on forums, which is how to create an Android project, and simply that actually works, because we have also had issues for a number of years. We've been using Cocos2d-x for a number of years, and we've never really found or had an easy way to generate an Android project. And just recently we was tinkering away with Cocos2d-x and Android, and we stumbled across a method that we found was really easy to generate a working Android project, which was fantastic. What I found from the tutorials and whatnot and the resources on the web, they sort of assume too much or they skip steps, even though it's titled for beginners. So yeah, let's just get into it. First of all, you need to download three things: the ADT, which is the Android Development Tools, the NDK, which is the Native Development Kit, and the Cocos2d-x version. I already have all of them downloaded because I didn't want you to just sit there watching me download it. But I haven't extracted and done anything with them because I literally want this to be a tutorial from the basics. But I'm just going to show you where you can download them. Anyway, it doesn't really matter what order you download them in. ADT download, if you just type that into Google or any other search engine. The first link should take you to a page like this. Just click on download. Then you just want to click this button, download the SDK ADT bundle for Mac. The files I downloaded about 15 to 20 minutes ago, so they should be the latest versions. The next thing is the NDK, and then you click on that link there and you just download which OS you have. I'm using Mac because that is the easiest for development for stuff like Android because it has a lot of drivers built in. I'm using the Mac OS X 64-bit, so I downloaded this one. And then finally I just need Cocos2d-x. Then you want to go to downloads, and I downloaded Cocos2d-x, and I downloaded version 2.2.2, which was the latest version as of now. I wouldn't mess around with version 3 because it's not out yet, but if you really do want to use version 3.0, not the beta version, because they're using the new renderer, so they have a few stability issues. Use one of the alpha versions. Alpha 1 should be fine if you want to look into it, but considering version 3 is coming out in the next few weeks according to the Cocos2d-x team, I would say wait before you maybe start a new project. Sorry about that, just a notification on my phone. Before you start a new project and then use version 3.0. But those are the tools that you need to download. Once they're downloaded, first of all, we're just going to extract the ADT because we want to just make sure that the Eclipse bundle is working and we have it working in a simulator. In this tutorial we're going to be doing a JavaScript application, but it'll be very similar for a C++ application, and if you have any issues just feel free to email us or message us via YouTube or Facebook or wherever, and we will try our best to help. And once it's open, first of all I would recommend putting these files in a folder in a specific location on your computer where you know you're generally not going to be moving them around, and that's where you want your development to go. I'll put them on the desktop just for now for the purpose of this tutorial, but generally I would actually put them in something like applications and development. But again, you can put them wherever you want. You put them in the download folder, in the desktop folder, but best to just try and organize it to prevent any issues later down the road. You want to go to the ADT bundle, go to Eclipse, and then just double click on the Eclipse icon. Click open, little window pop up. The same, confirm your workspace. Yeah, the default workspace is fine. If you know much about Eclipse and Android, then you may want to change the workspace, but generally I'm leaving it as it is. I'm just going to go to Window and SDK Manager. Just make sure all the SDK files that are needed are installed. Generally you'll probably just have the latest ones installed, and if you specifically want some of the older versions, then you will obviously have to install it yourself. And any of these other stuff, if you specifically need them, then download them. Otherwise I would say just leave them. And then the next step is to go to Window, Android Virtual Device Manager. Let's delete this device. I think it's just from a previous. Yes, it's from a previous. Sorry about that. Just from a previous Eclipse installation. So I was going to click delete, click new. I'll just call it device. Not very creative. Then go into device. I'm just going to select the Nexus 4 target. Then select Google API. It doesn't really matter which one you select. RAM, that's fine. A snapshot. Snapshot is a great little function. It helps speed up the launch of the simulator because it is ridiculously slow, but the first time especially, but if you use snapshot it speeds it up immensely. I'm going to click OK. Okay, now that it's created, I'm just going to start the simulator. Yeah, that is fine. And we just want to get the simulator working and running, and then we can actually start on creating a Cocos2d-x project. Just want to apologize in advance for the length of this video. I can definitely see it's been quite a while since I started the video, but there is not a lot to do, so you probably could skip it, but I'll recommend just watching all of it because you don't want to skip something and then realise that you actually skipped a crucial part. But again, I just want to apologise for the length of this video, but I just want to do it from scratch. I don't want to already have the simulator set up, already have Cocos2d-x set up, and just do a few commands at the end and leave fellow developers thinking, I've tried to do what you've done, but it's not working, and that'll probably be due to the fact that I've done stuff prior to creating the video. So I want you to, like I said, do it from scratch. Generally, I would recommend testing it on a device. I would test it on a device. It's just for the purpose of this video, I'll be using the emulator just so you can see it. And also another tip when developing for Android, if you don't need to shut down the emulator, don't, just literally minimize it, because it will also speed up the application load time immensely. But again, like I said, preferably use a device. Pretty much any sort of device will be better than using this. Sorry about that, just had a text. And it is just literally junk. This is taking quite a long time, but unfortunately this is how it is, especially when you're running it for the first time. This hopefully shouldn't take much longer at all. Okay, there we go. Took a very long time. And just click OK. This just literally as if it's a new device. We can scroll through the home screen, go to the application screen, let it load. click the home button again. Let's try clicking applications again. It's just loading everything because it's just the first time launching the emulator. In fact, you don't actually really need to see the application screen, because once we've run the application, once we got it working, you won't really need to see this, or you can just start to click the button and have it load in your own time. This isn't really necessary. Don't want to extend the video longer than we have to, so just click the home. But actually, we'll just minimize it, just let it do what it needs to. So we're going to click X on this. We don't actually need to quit Eclipse, but I'm going to quit it anyway. So I'm going to click OK. Oh, that's fine, let's let that do. And next thing you want to do is uncompress the Cocos2d-x. So uncompress that. And once we've uncompressed that, we're going to create a new project. Okay, now that's been uncompressed, you want to go to Tools, then Project Creator. Then you want to open up the terminal. Type in CD, which stands for Change Directory. Drag the Project Creator folder in here. So we're going to change the directory to the Project Creator folder. And now we want to do Python create underscore project.py dash project, and we just have to name the project now. I'm just going to name it, I don't know, Android, and then we have to put a package, so dash package. I'm going to put learning.sonarsystems.co.uk space, and I'm not going to put .uk, I'm going to put .android. I'm going to put dash language. I'm going to put JavaScript. You can use Lua or C++, whichever one you want to use. I'm just going to be using JavaScript for this. Then click Enter. There you go, it's all done. Then you go to the project folder in your Cocos2d-x root folder, and there will be your project that you just created. First of all, I'm just going to open it up in Xcode just to make sure it's working. Because the last thing I want to do is try and get it working in Android, and it's something that's not specific to Android that's preventing it from working. That is the last thing you want, to be scratching your head thinking what the hell is going on. So yeah, just run it in the simulator, click play. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, we'll fix the error. I know in certain versions of Cocos2d-x you have to do some housekeeping initially just to get it to work. Okie dokie. Seems to be running in the iOS simulator, which is obviously a good sign. There you go, it worked, which is fantastic. I'm guessing if I click this, you'll do a log. Yep, close button was clicked, that's fine. It's going to quit the simulator. It's going to actually quit Xcode itself as well. And the next step is to actually open up terminal, do CD space. This is actually the next step, but I want to show you what happens when you don't set up NDK yet, straight away, because you'll get an error. But you want to do CD, and then you want to change the directory to the proj.android, so the project Android project folder, and then click enter. And then once you're there, you want to simply run the build_native.sh, so I'm going to do build_native.sh, and it says please define NDK root, because the NDK root isn't defined. This is extremely easy to define. First of all, we just want to extract the NDK. So just double click there, let that extract. The reason I'm not doing it in the right order exactly is so I can show you some of the common problems and errors that you may face when doing this, because the last thing you want to do is watch this video, maybe slightly do in a different order, and especially order in a particular order that is quite common amongst developers, and get around and think, oh, I sort of follow the tutorial, even though you might have made like a slight mistake. But this way you'll see some of the common problems that you'll face. Once it's extracted, you want to change the directory or the NDK. Actually, you want to define the NDK root, so you want to do export NDK underscore root space quotation marks. Then you want to put the actual project directory. For the NDK directory, put that there. Quotation marks. Click enter. It's moaning. I don't know why this is moaning for. This is easily fixable. It's still loading. Ridiculous. And if we just click enter on here, this needs to just be all one word. Now do export ndk underscore root. That's actually a little tip there. I should have done it from the start. Is make sure when you have folders, preferably have no spaces in between them. There are ways to get around it, but it's generally preferable with file names and folders. Just do dashes, underscores, or I don't know, something else like that to sort of simulate and a space, but don't actually have a space. So next is quotation marks. Drag the NDK folder back, quotation marks, then click enter. Not a valid identifier, still moaning. Export NDK root. See if we remove the quotation marks. Still not a valid identifier. My bad. I was meant to put in an equals between the NDK root and the actual NDK path. So equals, so you got to do export NDK root equals quotation marks, then the actual path to the NDK, and then quotation marks to close it, click enter. There we go. That is fantastic. And now we're going to change the directory. Actually, we're already in the project Android, but I'm just going to change it again to that just to make sure we're in the right directory. It's just a little thing that I do just to prevent any errors. Just drag that folder, click enter. Now we actually will open up project.android. Then we're going to run this build underscore native.sh. So ./build underscore native.sh. Click enter. And now it's just going to compile Cocos2d-x for you and the JavaScript bindings. This will actually take quite a long time, probably a few minutes. So I'm just going to let it go. I will put a little link in the actual video itself so you can skip to the end of this compilation process because it's going to take a while, but if you want to watch it, you're more than welcome to. And literally this is the longest and hardest part. The next step after this is just to include your project into Eclipse and also include the Cocos2d-x library into Eclipse and run it. That is all that is left to do now, which is fantastic. Well, considering this is going to take a little while, for might as well just talk about Cocos2d-x. Cocos2d-x announced that wasn't coming out right. They announced later. Sorry about that. They announced in late 2013 that they will be releasing a Coco installer late this year, roughly around about November time, to be able to basically do what we're doing here with the Xcode project. Xcode setting up for iOS is immensely easy, but setting up for stuff like Android, they'll just have a easy to use GUI system, so you can just create a project, which is going to be fantastic. I can't wait for that. I'm annoyed that we have to do these sort of steps, but it's even more annoying that the actual resources out there and on the various websites aren't very good. So it's hard for developers, especially new developers coming to the Cocos2d-x framework, to be able to get it all set up. Yes, it's finally done. And so the next, so we can actually close the terminal. Just open up Eclipse now, go back, ADT bundle, Eclipse, open up Eclipse, click OK. It's gonna load the workspace, just click allow. Okay, there we go. We want to right click here, or you can just do file, import. I'm just going to do right click, import. You want to do existing Android code into workspace, click browse, and then you want to go to Android dev, then you want to go to Cocos2d-x, you want to go to projects, Android, proj.android, click open. You don't want to select this, copy projects into workspace, you just want to leave it where it is. Click finish. And we'll just open up this, and in the source folder, you were going to get some errors, which is android.java. It's just basically saying you can't find the Cocos2d-x library. Very easy to fix, you just need to import the actual library file, so import. Existing Android code into workspace, click browse. You want to go back and select the Cocos2d-x root, click open, and there's going to be a lot of projects here, a lot of them. And all we want to select, we want to first do just deselect all, then we just want to select this one, the lib Cocos2d-x. Again, you don't want to copy it into the workspace, click finish. And once that's added, these errors will disappear, which is fantastic. And now the next step is just to, I'll just go off this. Ooh, I think I just clicked the web browser. Go off that. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to run this in the simulator. So right click, run as, quick Google Drive just crashed, run as Android application. Launching, has encountered a problem. It is just saying please define NDK root, even though we have. Weird one. Build launcher configuration couldn't. Okay, it's gonna right click and actually just go into run configurations, target. It's gonna do always prompt, click apply, close, click play. If I want to use the emulator. Okay, this is getting an error. I'm just going to really quickly just see if it works on my Android device. Click play, select my device. Okay, it worked on my device, so that is actually fine. It just wasn't working on the simulator. I personally haven't really ever tried in the simulator. I've heard that there is errors or problems that you get when trying to run it in a simulator. So again, just recommend running it in a device. So again, we'll just actually make some, actually you can't actually even see the application running, but I assure you it is running. And what I will do is just record a video from my iPhone. Just focus in, and which will just be attached to this video as well. So I'm just going to select video. What we're going to do is click play. Nexus 5, 1 second. Recording that now. Just click Nexus 5. And there we go. It's launched it. This actually already was an activity, so it's just relaunched it, but there you go. That is what it will look like. That's it. That's all there is to it. So if you have any questions on how to set up Android using Cocos2d-x on Mac, feel free to ask away and we will try and help. Hope this video has helped, and thanks for watching.